those who don't know what Tokenmetrics is, Tokenmetrics is using data and analytics to find undervalued ICOs to invest in. So as opposed to using your gut instinct or just following the hype or the FOMO, using data and analytics and saying, okay, what historically has performed well? What does the data tell you? Finding patterns in the data and then creating a grading system and scoring upcoming ICOs based on that system. All right, so who has a question? Show of hands.
I follow your AMS very closely, and especially this year, I have seen, like, your top 5 projects, like, it changes every other AMA or alternate AMA. And I understand there are a lot of projects coming up, like every month, right? So you might find a better project. But as a retail investor, how do we decide when to sell a certain project and get into a new project, even if we believe in that project? Like, how do we determine that?
So how do you determine when to get out of a project?
Not that. Like, I mean, let's say you believe in one, right? Let's say I believe in one, right? And that is supposed to be one of the best projects, right? But now it seems like QuadChain or Zilliqa are going to be the next big project, more than one, right? As a retail investor, right? How do I determine that? How do I determine, okay, this is the time to get out of one, now get into Zilliqa, sell whatever you have for one and get into Zilliqa or QuadChain or whatever?
Good question. So I'll preface this by saying that my typical statement, I'm just going to tell you what I personally would do. Right? I can't give you customized financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Definitely consult somebody else who's a financial advisor when investing in ICOs because they are risky. You can't lose your money. But me personally, when I look to get out of a position in a project, I just look at what's the potential ROI. For example, with OneChain as an example, right? OneChain ICO, if you're in the ICO, OneChain ended up doing a 5, 10x, depending on when you sold or took profits. Right? If you're still holding OneChain and now it's gone down, it still has the potential to go back up. So I look at the potential upside. So for example, if you're trying to get into QuarkChain or some other project, QuarkChain ended up doing a 20x, coming back down to about a 5x. So I look at the total market cap and see which one has the potential to keep on growing. Right? Now for me, I do full-time ICO investments because they always have the most upside when you get in at the best price, the best entry price, right? So compared to a project that's already trading on exchanges that may have $500 million to $1 billion market cap, for example, if you take a smart contract blockchain that has $500,000 to $1 billion market cap, and you find a similar type project that's also very good, like the next Zilliqa, the next Icon possibly, and it is doing an ICO and is only raising about $30 million, that has much more upside to get to the same level as those other projects. Does that make sense? So if I was on a project like that, I tell myself, okay, if a project goes from $500 million to $2.5 billion, that's only a 5x. How possible is that versus a project that goes from $50 million market cap to $500,000? That's a 10x. So I just kind of compare these two and see which one has more upside. Hello?
I have just launched an ICO. I've just finished an ICO. And I just wanted to know that how do we filter out people who come on Telegram groups and say that we can put you to Ian Balina, we can get your recommendations on and other things. There are many things which are happening around big brands, like be it the Superman, yourself, or other people. So we as an ICO get jumbled up because there are many people who come on groups with your names, and it's very difficult to identify a verified email address or a verified contact.
How do you know if it's the real me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the best thing to do is just go to my website, ianbalina.com. Then at the bottom, it has all my official social channels.
But you don't get, no, that's about you. But for others as well, how do we identify that as an influencer, whether that's the right influencer or not?
So how do you find the right influencer to have them become aware of your project?
Yeah.
Well, you could do what Nucleus Vision did, which I didn't know until I met Avi. So what they did, they just looked at the data. They looked at the online traffic, and there are numerous social media platforms to kind of show you social media ranking or how influential somebody is, and see who's driving views, who's driving traffic to a particular project. Right? So with Nucleus Vision, based on the data, they saw it was me. That's why Abi reached out to me, right? So I would definitely say look at the data, because I'm a data guy. See the data, pick maybe 5 influencers and see who's more influential.
Hi, Ian. I have been
Hello.
following you in Twitter. Being a crypto investor, I would like to know from you, like, what are the techniques you follow before buying a certain token or a cryptocurrency? Like, also, like, what is the best time to buy a coin or certain tokens? Do you do your own technical analysis or you follow someone else's tricks? Also, I would like to know, I mean, like, what's your point of view about Encash? I mean, like, according to me, it has a very good potential to grow in the upcoming future. So I want to know your point of view. So, I mean, like, how big will be the Encash in upcoming days and in the future? Thank you. That's my question.
Just to repeat, so your question is what I think about Encash, and
Yeah,
do I
first
use technical analysis to get into it?
Yeah, I mean, like, what
token?
certain tokens or currency, what's the best time to go in? Like, do you follow your own
Best time
technical
to get, I mean, I'm an ICO investor, so I think the ICO is the best time to get in.
Yeah.
Almost all my investments are via the ICO. I may like a project, but if I don't get into the ICO, I'm probably never going to get in. Because I feel like once it's launched on exchanges and it's done well, there isn't really much upside. There's more upside in the ICO. So I almost always look to get into the ICO. Right? Then regarding Encash, I mean, I'm an advisor to Encash. Right?
Sure.
I think Abi is an amazing CEO, doing great things. They had big announcements here at the conference. I'm still holding my tokens. I think it has lots and lots of potential. One of the things that's very interesting about Encash is it's one of the few projects out there that's not a blockchain that for the most part has stayed above ICO price in this bear market for the last 6 months or so.
That's true.
And very few projects that are not infrastructure projects can really say that. Right? So I think that just shows the value people see in Encash.
Thank you for your answer.
Hi, Ian Prabhat here from Team Blockchain. What do you think is the long-term role of influencers and different kind of PR mechanism which are currently there? So, like, what do you see your role in 2-3 years from now?
Can you repeat that? What's the long-term role of influencers?
Yeah, long-term role of influencers. Like, will the market stay the same that someone wants to do an ICO, then they have to like have influencers pay them, or some kind of allocation or something? Because in the classical market before ICO, there was like advertising and marketing which used to work differently. It works very different now in the crypto market. There are like various kinds of deals which are done with different groups, right? So will this stay the same, or will there be some evolution in the next 2-3 years, right? So how will it involve, or the PRs and the influencers, like
I think influencers are the future of media, right? And not just in crypto, but in general, in almost every single space, right? As social media, people are basically barely watching TV, barely watching commercials, barely watching or viewing ads. They go to influencers on YouTube, on different social media platforms, right? Influencers in so many different niches. And now we just happen to have influencers in crypto, which just shows this market is getting more and more mature. So I think 3-5 years down the line, influencers will be the main media companies, right? The future media companies from crypto will come from influencers because they're very influential. And now this is not really different than what happened in other media and other mediums, for example, with TV, right? If you go to CNBC, I mean, Jim Cramer was an influencer, right, with his TV show. And almost any niche you go into, there's an influencer, right? So I don't think it's going away anytime soon. I think they're just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and more influential, all right?
So, yeah.
Ian, first of all, thank you very much for your all those ICOs and the analysis and review. I know a lot of people who made pretty decent money just by following your words, man. And my question is, I don't know if I can really ask you out here. How is that the hack thing going on? Hope you're getting your at least some of it coming back.
Yes, so it's going on pretty well. Actually, I have a private investigation team that's actually here. Part of my legal team is here at the conference with me. We've gotten a small portion of the funds back. We're actively working with exchanges, and they've been cooperating. And we've frozen about a quarter of the funds on exchanges. And now we're working with law enforcement globally we've ID'd the hackers. We know who they are. Now it's just a matter of building a strong legal case to make sure that we can work with global law enforcement to extradite them to the US for prosecution. But we're very optimistic. I think this is going to be a big story once it's all done and closed, right? But I'm still doing well.
Good luck with that. And any advice for us on the security? Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, just go through and just audit your security and try to find any loopholes, anything that you think is a vulnerability. Talk to other friends, because with us, we've had lots of other friends in investor circles also get hacked, and they thought the security was very good, right? And I mean, obviously, you have a hardware wallet, but there are tokens out there that aren't able to be stored on hardware wallets. So where exactly do you store them, right? So go through and audit that and find the best practices of doing all of that. All right, thank you, guys. Namaste.